Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If I sound a little bit croaky, a little bit louder than usual, a little bit quieter than usual, I'm sick, I still can't hear anything. If you've been following me on Insta stories, you'll know all about it, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. But on today's video, I thought it would be a fun idea, as Harry has just married the beautiful Meghan and had like the fairy tale wedding, I would share my top 10 tips for having a stress-free, hassle-free, easy planning wedding/wedding day. So if that sounds up your street, then continue watching. If you do like what you see, have a mooch around. I'd love it if you could stick on my channel by hitting that subscribe button. There is also a little bell, and that will alert you to whenever I upload a video, which is normally every Tuesday and every Friday at 7 PM. And I also throw in the odd bonus video, so that's always fun as well. So let's get into the video. So my number one tip is set a budget. Now I say this as a good thing. I definitely think you should set a budget. We set a budget, and I'm going to say set a budget and keep an eye on the budget. Because if your wedding is anything like ours was like a weed. It just grew and grew and grew and grew into this just massively expensive, massively like over the top wedding. It was all amazing. I loved every minute of it. But set a budget and really keep an eye on that budget to make sure it's not creeping out of control. My second tip is pay for the wedding yourself. We paid for all of our wedding ourselves, and even though the budget did keep going up and up and up, we then paid more and we were putting more into it and everything else like that, and sort of every penny that we had spare was going towards the wedding. And personally, I think that was a lot better than having to take out a credit card or a loan, things like that. I know quite a few of my friends who have done this and they're still paying off their weddings now, and it's just crazy. And if we'd have done that, we got pregnant straight after our wedding, so if we'd have had a big loan and a baby, I think it would have just been super stressful. So where you can, try and pay for everything without trying to get a loan. I just think it would make your life so much easier and less stress and hassle after the wedding, knowing that you're really debt free. Tip number 3, you cannot please everybody. I really want to stress this one. It probably should have been tip number 1. You cannot please everybody, and it took me a long while to realise this. Whether it's flowers, the cake flavours, table plans, dress colours, you're not going to be able to please everybody with the decisions that you make. And if you try, it is just going to become so overwhelming, so unnecessarily stressful. We found out this the hard way, and although we did still have everything that we wanted, we did try to take everybody's sort of considerations into the sort of pot when we were mixing it all together, and in the end it just came too much. So we just sort of said, it's our wedding, we're going to do it how we want to do it. If you like it, great. If you don't, I don't care, it's our wedding. And I think the quicker you can sort of be happy with that fact, or sort of understand the fact that you're not going to please everybody, it is going to make your life so much easier. Right, tip number 4, ask for help. I thought I was going to be like super bride. I was going to be able to do everything myself. I wasn't going to have to like ask anybody for help. I was wrong. It all started building up. I needed help, definitely when planning our wedding. Ask for help early on, just so you're not then going to be left at the end with tons of stress and unnecessary drama that you don't need to deal with. Tip number 5, dish out tasks. This was an amazing tip that I found so helpful when it came to running and planning our big day. So on the day, well, before the wedding, I dished out all tasks to our bridal party. So that was making sure people signed the guest book, making sure people went in the photo booth, making sure the order of services were handed out, making sure people knew who had the rings, and it just ran so smoothly. So on the day, I didn't have to worry about if people were signing the guest book, if the order of services had like turned up at the venue. Everything was being dealt with by our bridal party. So I could literally just sit back, relax, and enjoy our big day that we'd planned a year, that we'd taken a year planning. So definitely delegate tasks. Tip number 6, decide if you're having a adult only wedding or a children only, like a children wedding. We opted for an adult only wedding simply because at the time we got married, we didn't really have that many like children relatives, children in our lives, anything like that. So we did opt for an adult only wedding. We did have a page boy and a flower girl, and they just looked so cute. and they did the whole service at the abbey where we got married. They were absolutely beautiful, had all the photos taken. We went then back to the Greenway, which is where we had our reception. They had their meal and then they left. So the evening was like an adult only party, which I generally think was the best thing to do at the time for our situation, because we had parents and things like that. They then sort of had grandparents to take the children that weren't invited to the wedding, and the parents that were our friends could then enjoy the full day without having to worry about bedtimes, bath times, what the kids were doing, how late they were staying up, any of that sort of stress. So for us, that just worked out really well. Number 7, make a list of people you want to have photos with. I really regret not doing this one. Like, I look back on our wedding photos and yes, they're beautiful. Yes, they're just perfect. But I haven't got the photos that I wanted necessarily. So I haven't got a photo with just me and my mum. I haven't got a photo with John and his mum and his dad. I haven't got a photo with my great aunt Mioy, who's 98. And it's things like that that I really wish I'd written down who I want to have photos with, given it to the photographer so he could just grab people and say, you're coming with me, we're going to have photos. We do have lots of photos with those set people in, but they're not necessarily the photos that I would have chosen. Tip number 8. Remember to eat on your big day. So in all the commotion and everything that was going on our wedding day, I don't actually think I ate very much at all. So my mum put on a massive spread in the morning for all of my bridesmaids and herself and the photographer and the makeup artist that we had and the hairdresser. Everyone had breakfast. And I think because I was so nervous, I didn't want to eat anything because then I felt sick. So everyone else had like a big breakfast, like croissants and fruit and everything else like that. And I didn't have any of that. And throughout the day, I was constantly drinking Prosecco and champagne and everything else like that. It got to the venue where we had the reception, and the Greenway actually put by little plates for us, me and John, to have to like sit down and just have like a couple of minutes, like canapes. And again, didn't have any of those. I don't think I actually sat down until like the evening meal and had a meal. And by that point, I was a little bit tipsy. And then after that point, it all just went out the window. I was super drunk. It was really good, but I do wish I'd eaten a little bit more just so I didn't get quite so drunk. But that is my own fault. So definitely remember to eat food on your big day. Number 9, Pinterest when you're planning a wedding is your best friend. I was constantly on Pinterest. I had board after board after board of wedding ideas, dress ideas, bridesmaids dress ideas, everything like that. It is absolutely a key tool when you're getting married. It's a really great place to find ideas and things that you want. We went for sort of like a country wedding, so we found loads of ideas for tweed suits that we ended up having, loads of entertainment ideas, loads of ideas for the cake. Everything that we found, I'm going to put down to Pinterest. Pinterest and wedding shows. We also found a lot of our entertainment at wedding shows. Obviously, you don't have to have entertainment at a wedding. It's just personal preference. But we ended up going for, what did we have? We had a magician who was part of the, like, is it the Golden Circle? I can't remember. He was called Richard. I will leave his links down below because he was incredible. Like, he was insanely good. So we had a magician. We had a photo cab. So it's a photo booth in a back of an old London cab. And that was definitely the best buy I think we've ever spent. It was absolutely amazing. Everyone got involved and you had as many photos you could take. I think we had him for like 4 or 5 hours, and the photos that we have from them were absolutely hilarious. Like, it still makes me laugh now. Harvey's just jumped on the sofa, so if you see him in a minute, that's what it is. And we had loads of different entertainment things, and I think it just made the day a lot more interesting. Not that a wedding is boring, but a lot more interesting for the guests because there's so many different things for them to see. But again, that is just personal preference. And my last tip number 10, choose your bridal party very carefully. So I say this, it didn't happen to us, thankfully. I'm still very good friends with all of my bridesmaids, and we still talk to all of the ushers, and we're still as close as we ever were. But make sure you pick your bridal party very carefully. I know quite a few people, which is very sad, that either don't speak to their bridesmaids, don't speak to their best men. Like, It does happen, and even though in the time you might think, oh God, they're my best friend, they're going to be friends forever, just really think carefully about who is going to be your bridal party. That is the end of my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my stress-free, hassle-free tips on planning and pulling off the best day you can have. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment telling me what you thought of Harry and Meghan's royal wedding. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.